Welcome to our October book chat. Can I believe it's October 2025 already? This year is flying by. I have Miss Octavia here with me. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much for joining us and chatting with us tonight about yourself as an author and about your release Cutthroat, which was
Mm.
Cutthroat. You titled it properly, ma'am. Before we get into the details, let's get a little icebreaker going, get you warmed up. If
Okay.
you need to be warmed up because you seem like a straight into it kind of lady from what I've gathered, but I'm gonna still warm you up. I like to warm my ladies up.
Okay.
Okay, don't think too hard. You ready?
I'm ready.
Water, wine, coffee, or tea?
Sweet tea.
Sweet period. She said I'm gonna be explicit with mine. Morning or night?
Night.
I'm a night owl too. Digital or print?
Digital.
Same. Standalone or series?
Standalone.
And music or quiet?
Quiet.
I thought you was gonna be a music girl.
Mm-mm.
So you just be in there just in the silence.
So, like, when I'm writing, I watch horror movies. I
So
watch cartoons. But I can't listen to music because if I listen to music, it's like that beat, the melody is going to throw me off.
you know
So
what?
I would rather just have quiet.
You saying that you watch horror movies while you writing, yeah, that tracks. That tracks. That tracks. Yeah. Um, I'm a horror movie. So I am a horror movie girly. I don't typically read horror, but horror is my favorite movie genre. So you saying that you watch horror, like, so yeah, as a horror girly myself, I see that. I see that.
But you know what? I'm actually myself, I'm just getting into like reading like extreme horror. I like horror any way that you can send it to me. I don't care if it's a coloring book. I don't care what it is. Good luck. When I have like high anxiety, I have horror coloring books.
I've never seen anything like that.
These like they help me out so much. And I normally use those like when I'm trying to write and I can't focus. Like the coloring, it
Yeah,
brings me back to life.
I can see that. Like they say if you have writers block, do anything creativity, like creative,
Hmm.
color, do anything creative because it'll just to get your brain the blockages out of your brain.
Right.
But yes, so I can, now that you said that, like I don't like to assume people like horror because I am a like die hard. I turn on horror movies to relax. Like that's my jam. Like
Hmm.
I rewatch Criminal Minds from start to finish twice a year.
Same.
Like so I'm
Horror and true crime or crime shows.
yeah.
That's me. I'm
So
that girl.
when did you know you wanted to be an author?
You know what? I think that was around 2016. So I had my first writing assignment in 2002. I
Okay.
was a junior in high school, and she gave us a writing assignment, and that was a part of our English grade. I'm like, I have never written a book. I don't know how to write stories. She was like, well, have you ever read a book? Yeah. So she said, follow that same format and write your story. So I
Okay.
wrote a folklore called The Hyena's Laugh, which was about why the hyena has that annoying cackling laugh.
Okay.
And I won an award for it. And I'm like, oh wow, this is my first time ever writing anything. And I'm
Okay.
winning awards. And so even though I wrote that and I enjoyed it, I would like journal and things like that, but I never thought about writing a book. So when I moved to Florida in 2012, I didn't know anybody here.
Okay.
Like Florida is just so much bigger than the very small town that I'm from. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Since I don't know anybody, I don't know where to go to have fun, I don't know where to go to meet people. What am I going to do to keep my mind,
I
active? So I said, you know what? Let me try writing again. And then I wrote a story and then I started building on it, building on it, building on it. But I never did anything with it.
okay.
And then in 2016, I was working for Bank of America because I do work in money laundering. And I was listening to a I was listening to a book by Lynette King. And At the end of the book, it said, if you would like to join our literary family, send in your first three chapters of your manuscript. And I'm like, can I do this?
Absolutely.
And I'm just thinking, like, can I? Being an author is not something that I want to do, or is it? And I just don't know it, right? Because I don't feel like, well, for me, that wasn't an occupation that I thought that I could ever do.
I say this almost every chat. It's so interesting that reading is such a part of everybody's lives from a young age.
Hmm.
Being an author is so far fetched. It's like
Yeah, I don't know. And now that you say that, I'm like, oh, because in my mind, you have to have these degrees in like
most
English or
authors,
creative writing or all of these things,
a lot of authors don't.
and I don't.
A lot,
I
and I'm not
don't.
talking about traditionally published. Like I'm, and there's nothing wrong with having a degree. There's nothing wrong with being educated about the language that there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just always so interesting to me when I have these conversations, and I've had these conversations for almost a decade now with authors, and reading is literally one of the first things we're taught to do.
Right.
Dr. Seuss, kids books, the what was the other one, Winnie the Pooh, like that's,
Mhm.
you get books, you start with books at a very young age, ABC books.
Right.
And then once you get to grade school, you start reading chapter books, and it's reading is always a requirement. I don't care where you go to school, reading and is a part of the curriculum.
Right.
But did even an English teacher ever say, when they were discussing career paths and things you could do and how big you could dream, nobody ever says, "Oh, you could be an author."
Yeah. Nobody ever told me that.
And I was on the newspaper in school, and they were like, "You could be a reporter," but it was never like, "Oh, you could be an author." It just like as like it's interesting to me that people stumble into this. Like a majority of the authors that I've interviewed over the past decade has stumbled into this. Not
Yeah.
like it wasn't like this is a defined was not a defined career path for them, is what I would say. But I'm glad
Hmm.
that you all have stumbled into it, because it makes my life a little bit easier.
Like, no, I never thought that this would be someplace that I would be. I never thought that I could be an author because, for one, like you said, no one ever says you could be an author, right? And when I first wrote my first book, I didn't tell anybody in my family, should I say, because certain times we're around people and they're like, okay, you can't write a book, or you don't know how to, everybody else's negativity comes in and influences you.
Yes.
So I knew once he asked for those three chapters, and I had four chapters written, and he was like, you got to build on this, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't want anybody's outside influences to make me feel as though I can't, or to make me feel like, who writes books? Because I've heard somebody say, when I was in 11th grade, I was reading a book, and my friend was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading a book." She was like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Why not?" And she was like, "Only ugly people read books." So I'm like, "What?" So it became like taboo to read
I
because
think
my friends weren't doing
I
that.
think I had no. Well, I'm also of a different breed of everybody in my school was nerds. I went to private school, so reading was the expectation. Like I we weren't allowed to read the kind of literature I liked at school,
Hmm.
because it's urban fiction. Like I think you should be reading that. But um so you submitted the manuscript. We're told to build upon it. And was that the push and the encouragement that you needed?
I think it was, and the reason why it was because, like I said, I was reading Lynette King's book, and hearing her publisher say, this is good,
But
but you
build
have to add more.
okay.
You have to tell the story versus showing. And I'm like, okay, so I'm learning all of these different ways to tell a story,
You got
right?
constructive criticism instead of just negativity.
Correct. He never once said, well, at the end when I was ready to leave, he never once said, this isn't good, or you can't do this, or he was very encouraging when he
Okay.
was bringing me in, right?
And
And I
sometimes we
needed
just need
that.
that one push. We just need that one push.
Yeah. I
Okay.
needed that. And that book became um Should Have Chose Me. It was originally titled Pain, but he was like, Pain is just so black. And I'm like, you're right. So he's like, once you finish with the story, we'll come up with a title for it. And once I was done with book one, he wanted me to make it into a series. And so he asked me, after since you already finished writing this book, has a new title come to mind? And I said yes. And he asked what it was, and I said should have chose me. And that's how we have my very first series that I ever wrote.
Well, thank you for that, man, for that push of encouragement. And kudos to you for taking that one leap of faith and saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna hold this to myself and keep this. I don't want to say a secret, but more so private and protected.
Right.
Mine. This is mine first. So
Yeah.
kudos to him. Kudos to you, and thank you to him for that. Because sometimes we really do need just one push of encouragement, one yes, to get the ball rolling on what can become something so beautiful. Because now here we
Right.
are, years later, about to have a conversation about a book that has been making its internet rounds for the past few months and like has everybody's jaw on the floor, right? So before we get into that, just one more question. Do you have three books that you feel like are must read books? They do not have to be new that we could share with our sister girls.
Yes. So I'm glad you asked me that. So my pen sister, her name is Misha Mish. She has been around for a very long time. Very
Okay.
long. But she just wrote her very first thriller and it's called The
The
Birthday
birthday
Girl.
girl. It's
Yes.
on my
Oh my
TBR. The
God.
birthday girl. It's on my
You have
TBR.
to read that book. It is so good. I think she said she's gonna
See?
make it into a series.
You see
It
how
is
I
so
was on
good.
it. I was already there.
Yes.
I had the sample downloaded. Okay.
And then I will say my favorite book of all time is actually Horseman by Donald Goins.
Oh,
I
I
would
like
definitely say read that book. So
okay.
that book came out in like what, the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
It's very gritty, it's very raw, it's very street.
But he's known
It's
as
not a
the
pretty book.
godfather of he's known as the godfather of urban fiction. So that
Correct, correct, correct. And then there would be the Animal series by
I
Quan Foy. Oh my God.
was
I
there.
love Quan.
Was
I
there.
love Quan.
Somebody
And
just somebody just put in their chat that they had not in one of the clubs I'm in, they had never read a crime book. And I was like,
what?
that was one of the first urban fiction authors I read.
Oh my God. He
Road,
wasn't my first, but he was definitely the one that left an impression on me.
Road
His first
Dog.
book was Gangster that I
So
read.
the first one I read was Road Dogs. And this was back when I was in high school. I've been in high school for almost
Right.
2 years. The first crime book I read was Road Dog. And then was Gangster the one with the orange cover about Shy?
No, Gangster was the one about, no, not Gangster, Gutter. Gutter was the book I'm talking about.
Was that the one? Is that the one about Shy? And it has an orange cover? No, that's Hoodlum.
Mm-mm.
That's
Mm-mm.
Hoodlum. No, it's not. I don't know, but whatever one, that's the one. Whatever one, it has the orange cover, and the guy was supposed to be a basketball. He was supposed to become a basketball
So
star.
that is about Shy Clark. Yeah.
Yeah, what's that? That was the
But I don't
second
remember
book
what
I
that
read.
cover looked like. I don't remember what that cover looked like.
Hold on, it's all orange, or it used
I
to be
think,
all orange. You know, they be changing the covers
yeah,
like
they do.
when I
They
first
do.
and so that was the second one. The first one I read by him was Road Dogs. Yeah, Hoodlum was the second book. That was the one about Shy. That one stuck with me. At 20, almost 20 years later, that one's in the okay. The one about Shy, like he's supposed to be a basketball player, and
Yeah.
something happened to his brother, and then he had to come home, baby, because that's when Animal was introduced. Because I was there,
Yes.
I was there.
Yes.
I
Oh
love
my God.
conversations because I was there, baby. I was there, and I was like 15, and I was like, oh, this was going on. I thought that's the world we was living in. That's not the world we were living in, but I thought it was.
Mm-mm.
And mind you, I'm from Philly, so we had True to the Game, we had Fly Girl, we had all this stuff going on. I thought, oh, that's what we do,
Right.
baby. I turned 18, they wasn't doing that no more, and I was like,
And then it's like now that I'm in this space, like I can't believe that I get to interact with the people who I actually admire. Right. Like
I
I
think
never
it's
thought that I
so
would come
beautiful.
across Twan, right? And here
Yeah,
we are. I
I love.
love that man's books.
Me too. We need to get him on here. We need to get him on here because you know what? I need to do some throwback authors. I've been doing new authors because I mean, but I need to. This just made me think. I need to do some throwback authors. Maybe we need to start a throwback
Yeah.
series. But thank you for sharing those books. We're gonna put them in the chat, Sister Girls. We gave you three books to check out. If you haven't read them, go check them out. I might have to bump birthday girl up on my list now because
Please do.
it's on my TBR, but it's you know how them TBRs get. You know how they get, okay?
They get big, they get pretty long, but you will not regret pushing that one to the front. It
Okay.
is that
Now
good.
I'm gonna have to slide on in your DMs and be like, hello, we got to talk about this. But okay. All right. So we know how you became an author. We know some of the people that you are inspired by and books that you like to read. Now let's talk about your book, Miss Mom.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. Where did the inspiration for this book, novella, story come from? Tell me where was the inspiration? What happened? 'Cause
So,
you had me ready to up and boot up, okay? We ride at dawn for Edie. We ride at dawn.
so any woman, myself included, a lot of women feel like or begin to feel like, okay, I'm being punished for loving this man,
Yeah.
right? I'm being punished for standing by you and believing in you and all of the things that comes with love, right? And I'm like, this makes no sense. So back in 2020, E Kane narrated E Kane had an Instagram series and she interviewed me. She asked me what I was working on. And I said I was working on a book called Cutthroat. Fast forward 5 years later, and I'm just releasing that book on Easter, right? Because it just wasn't ready.
No, I'm saying it came out this year.
It came out this year,
Oh
but I
God.
started it in 2020.
Okay.
But it just wasn't ready at the time. Like it just wasn't, the storylines weren't coming together or none of that. And so fast forward to this year, I was going to the Miami Book Expo, and then Siren, my agent, she was like, okay, we're going to release this as an event exclusive. And I'm like, release what? And she was like, Throat. And I'm like, my book is not ready. She was like, it'll be ready. You're going to get it ready, and it's going to be great. It's going to do all the things. And I'm like, no, it's not. And right, I'm very emotional. And she was like, she was just sitting there stoic, like I said what I said. So I had to get the
So
book ready.
you one of them people that just need a little push. You need a little kick, a
I,
little
I
kick,
do.
a
I
little kick
work
in the
better under pressure, believe it or not.
Not
And
even.
because if she didn't do that, that book would have probably still been waiting in my work in progress.
Well, I'm glad
And
she did it.
she
Another
was like, it's gonna be ready. So I had to go back and delve into this book. And I just started like thinking on past situations or relationships that just went wrong, or you think everything is going right, and then you get a reality check. And I'm also like, okay, I have to make Eden hurt in this book because
yeah,
that's going to justify her actions, right? I needed her to really have that knife stuck in her back and in her chest. Because a lot of times as women, sometimes we can see things that we try to we'll make excuses for. Oh, it wasn't like that. Or he didn't mean it like that.
I
We
literally
lied
just
to
watched,
ourselves,
I
right?
literally just watched a girl on TikTok talk about that, about how you will find an excuse to kind of bypass behaviors that you know are not.
Correct. Correct. And I'm like, you know what? Anytime a man does something that's out of character or that's going to break his woman's heart, he expects her to forgive him,
Yeah,
right? He expects her to say things like, "Oh well, I didn't mean it," or just make excuses for him acting like a boy, even though he's a man. So I'm like, you know what? That's not fair.
right.
So as a woman, when you get your get back, or you are all of these things, when you did it first, right? So the word cutthroat came to mind because I'm like, you know what? Everything she's gonna do to this man, he deserves it. But in his mind, he didn't do anything that bad. So that's how we have cutthroat.
So you mentioned something that's making that is actually a question I had. Uh, is there a such thing as taking it too far? And did Edie take it too far?
I don't think she did because you cannot control a person's reaction to your action, right? If you didn't start this thing, I wouldn't have started this thing, right? So I don't feel as though it was too far. I don't.
But what about the baby?
What about baby?
That was the only thing that had me like. Edie girl, Edie
Hey,
girl.
he did first though. He had three babies with her sister,
No, no,
right?
okay. My issue is not what she did to him. It was the baby. Like I guess because I'm like the baby gonna grow up in foster care. What if they go to a bad home? I guess I was like, what about the baby was innocent? She could have gave the baby to Eve, let her raise the baby. I don't know. The baby was innocent. That was my only drawback from this story. It's like, but the baby, but the
But
baby,
if she gave that baby to her sister, she would have still been seeing him.
and
So
that's
you're still seeing the daddy and you're still seeing your ex-husband, and you don't want those reminders.
I just feel like the baby part. That was the part where I was like, "Ooh, girl, she took it to hell." Like
Oh my God.
she said the whole
Mm-mm.
bloodline. She said the whole bloodline shall perish. I said, okay, all right.
Yes. And you know what? A lot of people have said that. So I'm like, maybe I should kind of do like a little cameo of the baby or something like that. I don't know.
Why would
I
you
don't know
do
what I'm
that?
gonna do just yet. But like that, the baby part really got to a lot of people.
That was the only part.
Oh,
It's like not a judgment. It was just like, ooh, because the baby's innocent. It was like, what about the baby? That was the only. Everything else, y'all both, they both. Actually, I wish we could have roped the friend in with them because, yeah, y'all all. This is wrap this up tight. Wrap it up tight. You don't.
oh my God.
You don't want to be like your daddy, pow pow, man. You're just like, look at you, look at you. So that was my only drawback was that the baby was innocent, the little baby, but if fuck them kids was a person, okay.
But like she said, I was gonna make sure that he was adopted. Well, did I even put that in there? Because I meant to put in there that he was adopted by a good family, but I don't think I
No, no,
did.
no. You
I
know you ain't.
didn't.
You know you
I
ain't put
think
that
I
in there.
didn't because I
That's
wanted
why
y'all to
we're
feel
all.
like how y'all feeling.
That's why we're all so concerned because we're like the baby was just dropped off. Like the baby just.
Oh my God.
All right, thank you. You played your part.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I'm like, yo.
At first, I thought she was faking the pregnancy. I was like, this girl is not pregnant again. I was like, this girl's not pregnant again. Then we didn't know who she was pregnant by. I said, well, who is she pregnant? Then when it got to who she was pregnant by, I said, oh hell no.
I mean, hey, all is fair in love and war, right?
I was like, what? Like I closed my Kindle. That was one time I wish I had. Like sometimes I still wish I had paperbacks just so I could do you know, like sometimes I wish I had a phone so I could, just the. I wish I had a book in that moment because I needed to. You know what I mean? Where like when you be looking around fake cameras, like
Yeah.
maybe
Yes, I do.
is anybody reading this with me? Because now I'm the only person here. Cool, 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 cool. I was like,
It had to be done. It had
I
to
really
be
was looking,
done.
I was sincerely looking around like this my sister. Hello? Hello? Did y'all see did y'all see what she just did? Nobody was
Oh
there.
my God.
This is why I like talking to authors because nobody was there. So hello? Is is anybody else reading this? Is this
Oh
like
my God.
or is it me? All right. So let's dive into, the sisters. Okay. We got Eve, Eden, and Envy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe the girls, specifically Eve and Eden, well, Envy too, their outlook on romantic relationships would be different if they knew the more of the ins and out of the parents' romantic relationship? I think you brought up.
I think for Envy it probably would be, but they kept her existence, how she came to existence, a secret,
Right,
right? So instead of them talking to her, and because I have half sisters, right? Instead of them saying, you know, this is what happened, or letting her know the truth, they just treated her different, and that wasn't fair,
right,
right? But also, like even at the end, she didn't know that she wasn't their whole sister
right.
until the very end. And so you're telling it's like her whole life was just a
The law.
devastation, right? But as far as Eden and Eve, I think maybe it could have been different because, like she said, I wanted a man like my dad. But the fact is, as a child, you don't know your dad
So
as a
I
man.
definitely think you made a very valid point.
Mm-hmm.
Two valid points in this beautiful points in this very I can't even say this story is far fetched because I watched Snapped, so I can't
Of
even say
course.
it's far fetched. But I think what made it a good story is that it wasn't so far fetched. These are people that we know. You know what I'm saying? Like we know somebody who looks up to their father, idolizes their father, and or even if you don't know
Okay.
somebody, we see these conversations online happening every 90 business days about, well, we want relationships back like Pop and my mom, and we want relationships, and it's like these things were going on back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do we idolize these relationships as if they were unproblematic?
Yeah, and that's so not the case because my grandparents couldn't stand each other.
And we're
Couldn't.
but we're now just starting to have these conversations, right? And even
Right.
the girl said it in the book when the mom finally, breaks everything down, and she like, "That's your sister," and it was like, "Excuse me, oh, that ain't my kid." Y'all wanted to know why I was treating her like that. Well, now y'all grown. I can tell y'all that ain't my kid. I wasn't complaining.
Right.
That was none of my concern why she acted the way she did. And I could see, I guess I could see this happening in my mind, like as if I was watching
Mm-hmm.
a show, and it was like all of these aha moments clicking together as to Eve and Eden thinking that Indy's getting away with murder because she's the youngest, she's the baby, and all of these these reasons that we justify why this child gets to behave like this and we don't. And
Mm-hmm.
the mom is like, get your kid,
Exactly.
but they don't know that. The whole time she like, get your kid, and they're like, oh, you were so hard on us. You like, you're gonna be ladylike, and you're gonna be this, and you're gonna be that. And this girl get to do whatever she want, yeah, because she ain't my kid.
Exactly. And the thing is, what I also wanted to, which nobody really ever asked me, but I'm just going to tell you, this book shows that a lot of families, and I'm speaking specifically to Black families because I write Black characters
Period.
in Black situations. A lot of families, they keep secrets, right? And
Excuse me.
that it causes like a ripple effect down the line. Like, oh, you're a child, so stay in a child's
Like,
place.
right.
Or
But this
instead of a grown
conversation,
people conversation, but this is something that everybody needed to know. And it, everything just went haywire because no one was honest. So,
yeah, I definitely feel like, it was almost two stories going on at once. We have this main story with Eden and Terrence and their relationship and all of the things that is happening and showing. I, Another thing that probably like wasn't connecting is that another conversation we often see happening is this good girls get rewarded with the marriage, right?
right.
Is this the trophy that we are ain't like?
That's the point. Like everybody likes to say, oh, but she ain't a wife though. Do you know how much chaos a wife goes through? How much disrespect a wife has to endure? All because you have a ring? Are you insane? Like that
Like,
is crazy to
but
me.
it is a conversation and a cultural phenomenon, specifically since you said we're talking about us as a people, that we consistently have to have these debates and conversations about worthiness, right?
Right.
Even the way the story starts is that Eden finds worthiness in her relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It literally starts with her catering to her husband. Here I am, this huge executive at one of the largest banks, richest banks. I have my own, I'm this, I'm that. But I still take pride in being a homemaker. I still take pride in making sure. She literally says to him, there's no way the breadwinner of my household was going to, come home. The head of my house, that's what she said. There was no
Mm-hmm.
way my house was going to come home and not have a hot meal.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, he out eating steak off an envy fork.
Of course. Of course. So this is like one thing my grandmother said. If you are going to be a wife, be prepared to be disrespected. My grandmother died about 10, 11 years ago. But she had some of the realest conversations with her granddaughters. And it's like, oh my God, I never want to get married. If this
But
is how, this is what you're saying,
but that
right?
is but that is the reality of a lot. I feel as though, and I've heard people say this, is that while your grandpa was telling you everything was cool, he always had dinner on the table, X, Y, and Z. Our grandmothers were telling us, "Don't do this,
Correct.
do this." And so while again, y'all are idolizing a relationship that does not exist.
Correct.
And that's not to say every single marriage had the same issues, but y'all are idolizing relationships that did not exist in reality. And it
Correct.
it in a way because again, you were a child and we were very private, and are we as a culture have this, you keep our business in house at all times.
Yes.
That is starting, we're just starting to kind of see that narrative being broken down in many different ways as to why it's not safe to have everything in house. Um,
Hmm.
and it, I think that's also interesting, like specifically a interesting connection that social media plays, the Black experience. Like
Right.
you could be from the South, you could be from up north, you could be from, but the experiences maybe not or maybe not linear, but they're close enough that they're relatable.
Hmm.
Say Uncle Ben in the attic, you don't have to be in my direct lineage to know who Uncle Ben in the attic is.
Right.
You know what we're referring to. You might have Uncle Ralph or Uncle, but you know who we're referring to, or
Hmm.
the topic at hand of what we're
To the
referring to.
topic. Yeah.
So it's like it's so interesting that you know, we're seeing all these issues, and thematically, this book is very it's very streamlined and it's one story, but it's very layered to me. And I know it's a short story and it's only like 150 pages, but for somebody like me, it was very layered and intentional, like about the girls learning about their father, right? Learning
Hmm.
learning about all of these things as adults, and they're adults, they're in their 30s, like
In their 30s.
they're
Yeah.
adults. And now how much healing, now that everything is over and out, how much healing will have to happen? Because even with Eve, she's like, "Oh, I already went through this with my husband. So, girl, you do what you need to do because I forgave mine. We finna be happy together."
Hmm.
But are y'all happy?
Are y'all? That's the question. And it's like, you stay in a
If
relationship
this is the
based
kind of
on
behavior,
history, and history does not always matter, in my opinion. Like, I could go and create a new history with somebody else that loves me and respects me versus staying with you and I can't forgive the stuff that you put me through, right? So I feel as though you can be with somebody for 20, 30 years, and when you're not happy, it's time to leave. Like, our time together does not mean that we're supposed to be together. Move on, because hurt people.
I
And
think it's,
had he not done that, Edith would not have turned out the way that she did in this book.
and that brings us to my next question. Do you think Edie will ever believe in love, marriage again? Not just from what has happened to her, but now hearing, you know, from her mother's perspective, knowing her sister's perspective, do you think that she would ever be able to heal and, you know, rebound from it?
Think Eden will definitely need counseling because,
Okay.
like I said, she said she wanted a man like her father, and she got one that was
You
just
gotta,
like him.
you gotta be careful with what they
You
say.
have to be careful what you wish for. You cannot look at somebody and say, this is couple goals. Because everybody that we in this century have looked at as couple goals have had the darkest secrets, right? Have just been staying together for appearances. Or I'm staying together for the kids, but da 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 da. You cannot look at somebody and say, this is what I want, because you don't know what goes on in that house. You
Yeah, you
can't.
have to be careful. You have got to
And
be careful.
sometimes you get exactly what you ask for.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
as a wife, you keep secrets from your kids because you want to protect your kids, you want to protect your own sanity. However, you got a man just like your daddy, and that's what you wanted. You didn't know that's what you
Okay,
wanted,
but you didn't know. You were none the wiser.
right? because you saw your mama smiling even through her pain. And that's why when I'm having a hard day, I actually kind of relate to my characters. Like, okay, it's exhausting smiling when you are in turmoil. No matter what the situation is, whether you have to go to work and talk to your coworkers, or there's a relationship, or there's a business transaction. When you are not in the mood to smile and you're smiling, you end up being drained.
Yeah, true.
And it's just a lot that you have to deal with. And I feel as though women have to be comfortable within themselves. And I understand she wanted to be this great woman. But if you look at the synopsis, it says you cannot spell embarrassment without men. And that is true, right? You can't.
The
So,
the redemption campaign for men for heterosexual women is going to have to work overtime, baby. It's going to have to work overtime because, like, do you feel like the story reflects some of the perspective shifts we are seeing in the community?
yeah, I know, right? You have,
Art
you know,
imitating life in a way, or life imitating art, however, whichever.
and this, I definitely say this was actually art imitating life,
Okay.
because I know situations like this. I've been in a situation like this. Somebody never saw on my sister, but I've been in a relationship where I was not happy. I've been in a relationship where I'm like, oh my
But
God, if I
she
look at
was.
this person one more time, I'm gonna
But she,
die.
I think the part. See, all right. I think that's the part that hurts my stomach the most. Is she was happy, or she was happy.
She was happy. And
So
that's also, it's like, okay, I didn't go looking for anything because I thought we were good, right? I
that's
didn't
the
have
part.
a reason.
So specifically for situations like this, I think that's the part that hurts my stomach the most when I see stuff like this happen, or when I read about stuff like this. It's like, but she was happy.
Right.
And it's like, you, I think that's a different kind of crushing. Because
Yes, it is.
it's one thing that you having problems in a relationship, y'all not seeing eye to eye, y'all having turmoil, y'all, it's that tension is high, and somebody goes and does something, not, I'm not saying either way is right or wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all. But usually if somebody's unhappy in a relationship,
Right.
they doing other shit. They finna find a way out of the relationship. Some people can't just say I don't want to be here no more. They got to go find like they got to go find give you a reason to make it to split, right?
Hmm.
But in situations like this, I think for me it gut punches me harder because I'm an empath. Even when I'm reading about fictional characters, I'm an empath because, like you said, we know these women, we know
Right.
these people. This is not this your cousin, this your sister, this your homegirl that you then had to go pack up. This we know these people, and I think it just punches me in the stomach because she was happy. She was happy to be making that lasagna. She was happy
Hmm.
to be the person who tooted his horn and stroked his ego. She was happy to do it. She was happy. So I think for me, that's where I'm not trying to do pain Olympics or anything like that, but to me, that's when that soul stirring, gut wrenching pain is a little bit different because
Hmm.
I was satisfied. Our sex life was good. We were financially good. I had just agreed to stop taking my birth control and to we could try to have a child. What is happening here?
Exactly. So, and that is the truth. Like when I think everything is all good, like I'm all lovey-dovey and in love with you, and then I just stumble upon something that I wasn't looking for. It's like, what did I do to deserve this? So now I'm looking at myself like,
I
okay,
mean,
did I've been doing something wrong? And now I'm second
and
guessing myself as
nobody
a woman.
but nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that. And I think that's the part that I think we find hard is that nobody deserves that.
Correct. But men are selfish. Women are selfish too. Let's be honest. We're not gonna act like only men are out
I
here
was
cheating on their spouses.
seeing some
But
guidelines.
yeah.
A question I do have, because this was an illicit point that was made in the story, is that Eden didn't want revenge. She wanted vengeance. In
Yes.
your own words, what is the difference of revenge and vengeance, and how much of this extremity was taken from a toolbox of experience, and how much was that good old imagination going into overdrive?
Well, it's a little of both, right? Revenge is me doing this back to you because you did it to me. This
Okay.
is karma, right? Vengeance is me making you feel what you made me feel. And it's not going to make me feel any better that I'm doing it. It's just going to make me, I'm just glad that you are being hurt because you started this first, right? I will honestly say a lot of this book has happened in real life. Some of it has happened in my real life. And I'm writing about things that, okay, maybe I wish I could have done this, right? But at the same time,
You.
I know plenty of women, my mother, my grandmother, aunts, friends, all of us have experienced pain from loving somebody. And it is unfair and it's unfortunate. And there you go. And I'm like, you know what? I don't like writing about women that are just gonna be passive aggressive. Take this out of there, it's too loud. Um, I want her to get her get back.
Oh, it was this was more to get back, baby. This was definitely. I said, okay. I'm not okay. I'm not like it's so funny because my sister will laugh. I'm not a get back girl. That's not me. I know, I
I'm a
know.
Leo, so you might get that get back, whether you know you got it or not.
I'm not a get back girly.
Go.
I am my get back is you died. That's my you're dead.
Understood.
I'm that my sister hates it. My sister hates it. She wants to flip tables. She wants to jump. She hates it. I am a please. If you ever see me again, the worst thing I could do to you is make me non-existent to you because I was that good to you. I know I was good to you, and you're going to miss not even necessarily me as a lover, but me as a person because I am that person. Like I am just the person. I'm supportive. I'm so that I'm not a get back girly. So for me, this was like
You know, I'm 40. So I've
you
done a
ain't too
lot in life.
you ain't too far behind you.
And I'm like, you know what? I do what you just said. I do not mind just stopping communication and just moving on. But sometimes when you know that I have been the best person, and so you were literally hurting me for no reason, whether I knew or not, you didn't care how I would feel if I found out because, and that's why you did it, right? So in my mind, you didn't care about my feelings. So
That's true.
whatever happens, happens because there are several women. You meet women everywhere at the gas station, in line, at a grocery store, anywhere in the world, there are women. You
Yeah.
chose to go flesh of my flesh. You knew who this girl was. It's not like she was a stranger or like she was some long lost sister that I didn't know I had. I even saw you, I just told you that I didn't want kids because I didn't want my kids to act like her. Then I come and I see you with her. You are blatantly lying to me and humiliating me and embarrassing me. And I cannot forgive it. And
Okay.
that is Octavia, the woman, saying that, right? And I just feel like, a lot of times we try to be the bigger person, but sometimes you got to go to hell on these men because that's all they understand.
And I agree with that. I agree with that. So you would up my next question. My next question. My next to last question. Two more questions. Envy really was for everybody, okay?
Yep.
But knowing we have a villain origin story now. Can she be redeemable? Can she be made a redeemable character? Can we get her some therapy? Can we get her some help? Can Envy have
Envy's
with her
Envy's
sister?
dead.
I mean, yeah, she is dead. So I mean, but can we redeem? Like, is there's no redeeming her? Like, can we not feel bad for her? Can we not have no empathy for Envy?
You can have empathy for Envy, and this is why I'm saying this. She did not know anything about her childhood.
Yeah,
She knew Maria as her mother and
her
her
mom was
father as her
her mom
father.
was a drug addict and a mistress. That's
Right.
hard. She was a white woman. That's really hard.
But at the same time, and you know what? I don't really blame, but I do blame Envy. I do blame her because a lot of times if we just go to therapy, we can heal from things. But she didn't do that. And
Okay.
she wasn't going to do that because this is what's going to make a good story. So I had to have a villain. But
And
in all actuality, Envy wasn't the villain, it was her parents.
And I think that's my point. But and I think that's what, again, I think that's the empath in me is like, dang, she didn't have a chance to begin with. Like, I think that's the empath in me, and the person like who went to school for psychology, who's like looking at this from a point of view where it's like sometimes we really do curse our children with these secular
Yes.
things that we don't want to, but now knowing why she was treated different, knowing, like, I think that just be the empath in me. When I got to the end of the book and my mouth finally closed because I was like, bruh, your dad gonna get you shanked. That is,
Hmm.
but it was an episode of Criminal Minds like that where the son purposely went to jail to kill his dad, and I was like, no, I swear,
I have to watch that. I didn't see that one.
there is an episode of Criminal Minds. I think it's based in Boston. Um, and the son purposely became a serial killer so he could go to jail so he could kill his dad because his dad killed his mom.
What if he didn't go to the same prison as his dad? Then what would happen?
Maybe it was good TV. Okay, you asking me too many questions. It was good
Oh my
TV.
God.
The old people is crazy, crazy. But now your dad gonna get you shanked in jail because you was the only person he let live, and now look at you. And come to
Hmm.
find out, your mother wasn't an angel neither. And that's what I
Mm-mm.
mean by these secrets coming back to haunt the children, because you didn't know that your dad didn't just not like your brother, or you didn't know that your mama was a whore. You
Right.
Now that's why you in love with a whore, because men like women like their mothers, unbeknownst to you.
Yeah,
Unbeknownst,
exactly.
the reason why you can't, you literally psychologically are saying to yourself, why do I like when this lady talks to me like this? Why do I like it when she treat me like this? Because that's how she was treating that's how your mama was treating your uncle, and you saw it and you just didn't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
No excuse for your behavior, sir. Because even after I read that sob story, I said, so you didn't like the fact that your dad treated your mom terrible, so you turned around and treated your wife terrible? But that's really some logic that men would have. Like, baby, how that made sense?
Exactly. And like he said, in the beginning, his dad was a great man. Then the little brother came along and he turned into something else. And he turned into something else because your mother was a whore, right? Of all the people
That's
that you
one of
could
my
sleep with, why would you
that's
sleep
one of
with
my
my brother?
one of my favorite words. My mom hates it because I'm like, oh, so they're a whore. She's like, why do
Love
you?
it. It's so sophisticated to me.
Because I call them how I see them. A whore is a whore. Like, I don't make the rules. Okay, baby?
Listen, I love that word. I love it. I love it. I love it. It sounds so classy and sophisticated to me. I don't care what nobody
Yes,
say.
me too. She's a whore. It sounds so much better than hell. I don't know why. This is for the we don't have
It
to work.
just sounds so good.
We don't have to work with one and that. So yeah. So all right. So I think we covered all the characters. We covered everybody. This was a very man, very messy, very very messy. As soon as I
And it
go,
took me 5 years to write it.
but let me ask you this question now. Let me ask you this question. With the reception that it's had in the last 5 months, was it worth, like, one, were you expecting the reception of this particular book to be like this? And was it worth the wait?
I definitely feel like it was worth the wait. It was even worth the wait for me because I like to tell people because I speak to a lot of aspiring authors. They reach out to me, and I try to be the type of author that I needed when I first, came into writing.
Mhm.
And do not rush the process.
Okay.
Okay. When I originally wrote it, and I think a lot of my readers know that I'm a handwriter. When I first started writing this book, it
You write
was
my hand first?
yes. Let me. This is Cutthroat right here. This was Cutthroat.
Oh, mama.
Every single book that I have, I handwrite first. And again, I started writing at 16. At 16, I didn't have a laptop or computer or anything like that. So I had to write my books or write my assignments and go to our computer lab at my high school and type it. Right. So
So that's become a part of your process.
that's a part of my process. And
Okay.
I had a panel at the Black Book Bash here in Jacksonville, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was asked, like, why do you do this? And it's because this is how I started writing. I started writing by hand. So I can't break away from it. And
Okay.
I love that for me because I can feel my character's emotions by
I mean,
teaching them.
it has to be therapeutic though in a way.
It is. It really is.
Like if you're
It
feeling
really is.
pour it into somebody else's character building, that has to be therapeutic.
It really is. And no
Wow.
matter, even when I'm editing a book, I handwrite it because
Wow.
that's the only way that the words make sense to me. The clicking of the keyboard, it draws it. I can't focus, but I feel as though like the weight, it was worth it for me because I was able to touch on things that were not even in this notebook. And
Wow.
so for me, like I feel like when I wrote every or I typed everything out, the book came together once I started editing it because I changed like chapter 5 through 10. In the beginning, there was not even a dad. I never mentioned the dad, and and also there was never a baby. And then also she
Okay.
forgave that man and they went to therapy, right? And I'm like, what is this? I don't do happy endings. Y'all know I don't do happy endings. I got to make this thing a little bit raw. And
So we
I
needed the
did.
dad. We definitely needed. I think, or maybe I just need. Like I said, I liked the layering of this story.
Mhm.
The story was very streamlined, and me, I'm a very detailed reader, so I don't tell authors how to do it, but I'm the kind of reader who prefers the details. I just like the details.
Right.
So, and I like
I love the details. And I'm like, okay, when I handled it, it didn't have that. And I feel like it was I'm about to call her Eden, Lord. It was Siren, like I said, my agent that was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be ready. We're
right.
ready to release it. And it was her because I was struggling with it again because it has so many personal parts in it. I was struggling with it. And having her say, you're gonna do it and it's gonna be great. You're gonna put that Octavia on it and we're gonna love it. It was like just hearing her believe in me when I wasn't feeling confident that made the book what it is today. I have a
Well,
team of women that
definitely.
that believe in me,
I think
right?
I think it was just enough. Like I felt,
Yeah.
except the baby part, I'm still a little torn. Not that I didn't like the book. I just felt like that's where my struggle was. Like, damn, but what about the baby? But you have cleared that up. That the baby was adopted by a good family, so
Yes.
you can sleep well tonight, knowing that I just didn't leave a baby on the side of the road.
I think I may write. I don't know. I think I'm gonna probably write them into something because I have had that question
Revenge,
so many times. Okay, what happened to the baby?
revenge of the baby. Okay, revenge of the baby. Now the baby got to go to jail and kill and kill look, kill the real daddy, the grandpa daddy, and the daddy. Like this is
Oh my god.
like, woo, this. I just need to know, sister girls. Like, drop it in the comment. Which part of this story shocked you the most? Okay. Unfortunately for me, him cheating with Envy did not shock me the most. That actually happens a lot more often than people think. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I've seen it happen, unfortunately. Um, Not me and my sister. Let me just be clear. Okay, but don't get no ideas. We don't even like the same kind of man, so that wouldn't even work. I don't even understand. Anyway, but I've seen it happen like in real life. Like, you sleeping with this lady's sister?
Hmm.
Are y'all okay? But
I've seen it.
I've seen it too, and that's so unfortunate. That was the most shocking part of the story for me. The most shocking part is when we found out it was the daddy. I said, "Oh baby, this lady's sick."
That's what you thought.
I
Like,
said, "I
see,
thought it was going. I thought it was going to be the friend that he had to go pick up from work.
and I knew that y'all would have thought that. That's why I didn't do that.
I thought it was going to be homeboy. Like I, I did.
Mhm.
Chapter 9. I was like, oh, it's going to be homeboy. The. Let me ask you something. Is that really true that you could put a camera in your rear view mirror and record what's going on in your car?
Well, yes, you can. Now, I don't know if Wagoneers actually have that. I know that they do have, of course, rear view cameras like most cars do. But I was watching, was it Vice? Was it the Vice channel? And no, it's the channel that they build cars, like on West Coast Choppers and stuff like that. They were building cars, and he had cameras installed inside his car. And in his rear view, if you tap like one of the buttons on it, it would record the inside of the car. So he didn't want to have a dash cam per se, but he wanted to be able to record what was going on in his car. So
What
yes,
was he
you
doing in
can
his
do that.
car?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing in the car. That's what the man asked for, and they paid for it, and they did it.
What
And I think the car that he did that to was actually like a Nova. It wasn't a brand new car at all. It was like a
what
Chevy Nova.
was he doing in his car? Now I got to go do some research on my own. Okay, well, let's last question. Last question. Now you got my brain going. But when I read that, I said I'm gonna have to ask about that one because Miss Ma'am, you was doing some. Hmm. Okay. What would you want readers, male and no matter what their sex or orientation is, what would you want them to take away after reading this story?
What I want you to take away from reading this story is that every action has a reaction. I can be the best person and I can also be the worst person. If you don't want the worst side of a good person, be good to that person, right?
I love that.
Because originally the subtitle of the name of the book was Cutthroat. The subtitle was The Bad Side of a Good Woman. But I didn't want to put that subtitle on there because I didn't want the cover crowded with a lot of words.
We got to find a way to add
So,
that back. I love that. That is
but if you in the book, it's in there like you have met the bad side of a good woman.
that's the perfect. It makes me think about acrimony. Okay, she didn't take it this far, but that's what the book reminded me of the acrimonious type of.
Hmm.
Whoo. Okay, this was. Thank you. This was a lot.
Also, I this book had what, four book covers, and on those, I couldn't make up my mind. It took me 5 years, right? I'm like, what do I want on this book cover? I know I don't want a person. So the book cover itself was, put together by Siren, and we had it illustrated.
No, I think it's perfect because it's like
Yeah.
it's very unassuming, and it's like, what am I about to get into? And it was like, oh,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, you got real good reviews on this one. I'm not saying that you don't usually, but this one, the girls was in a tizzy. They was like, they was like, read it, hurry up. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna make
Oh
you.
my God. Oh my God. And listen, the part that people were most shocked by, and you said it was the dad for you, was the vegetarian part for a lot of people.
You know what? That pissed me off. That pissed me smooth off. Be- that pissed me. I'm not gonna lie. That pissed me. Nigga, you been eating steak this whole time?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And that actually, when about 5 years ago in 2020, I went through a weight loss journey because I'm 5 foot tall, I'm very short, and I was 250 pounds, right? And it's like I just had so much weight everywhere on my neck, on my chest, everything was just heavy, right? And so when I'm talking to my nutritionist and I'm talking to a dietitian, they were like, maybe you should try reducing the protein. And so I started like drinking protein shakes and I tried to stop eating meat.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh God, no, this ain't gonna work. I'm a country girl. I like meat. I can't not eat this. And that's where that vegetarian part came from because for like 3 days, I was a vegetarian.
not 3 days. Octavia, please don't stress me out. Please.
For 3 days, I had not had meat. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting to shake and I'm going
Octavia,
through withdrawals.
not
And it
not
was
72
just,
hours. Not girl,
yes,
don't get on my nerves. Please.
I'm being so serious. I'm being so
That
serious. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work.
did piss me off a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't. I don't know. It did shock me, but it didn't. I think it was just so many shocking moments that I think that one just kind of the baby and that being his daddy. I said, "Whoa!" A meme that said, "If you play me, I'm, I'm at the
Okay.
age where I can have the son or the daddy, and I'm gonna be your stepmama now." And I was like, "She saw that meme. She saw that meme, and that's you saw the meme, didn't you? Did you see the meme? You know what I'm talking about?
What name?
It's a meme. And it's like, if you play me, I'm old enough for your daddy now. I'm gonna become your stepmom or something like
I
that.
didn't see that.
I bet you see it now. I bet you see
I
it now.
bet you I'm gonna go Google it when we get off of it.
I bet you. No, 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 no. Wait for it to come up naturally. Wait for it to come up naturally. It always after you talk about it, you know it come up like wait,
Yeah, it does.
wait
It
for
really does.
feel free to like girl. But thank you so much. This was very enlightening, and girl, I done got my giggles out. This was funny. You are funny. Tell our sister girls one. where they can find you, follow you for all updates of all things Octavia. And two, what do you have coming up that you might want to tell us about?
So I'm gonna answer that backwards. So what I have coming up is I have a new release coming out in April. So it'll be literally a year from the time that I release Cutthroat.
Okay.
Because the response has just been so great. I want to talk about it as long as everybody wants to talk about it. And also, it's kind of hard when you're an independent author and you're writing back to back to back to back to back. I needed some breathing time. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to release another book next year, but I'm not telling y'all what that is until next year.
Come on. Not
It's
just a
gonna
little
knock your
bit.
socks off. It's gonna knock your socks off. I'm telling
Not
you.
just a little bit. Little bit.
But I did tell a little bit. Like I did the video with Dante on the ground dead.
Okay.
Did y'all see that?
I didn't see it yet, but I'm gonna go find it now.
Okay. His name is Dante. That's all I'm gonna tell you. And he
Okay.
will be the next person that you hate. And that's all I'm gonna say.
That's the next person that you hate. Woo, because yeah,
He's gonna be the next person that you hate.
you know what though?
And
I love hating characters. I think I love hating characters more than I love loving characters
me
because
too.
how you make like this person only exists in my imagination. Why am I this upset? Why is my blood pressure this high over somebody who I'm making up? I'm making
I
this person.
love a story that I'm traumatized in. I love it.
You know, it makes me think about the Mako series, the Underground series. I hate Nas so much, and I tell her that all the time. Like I hate this man. Like I hate him. Like I hate him. Like this is a real life man. Like I hate him. Like hate. Like I don't even say I hate people. I hate this man. Like you know he's not real, baby. Don't piss me off, okay? Don't piss me off.
Oh
Hate.
my god.
I think I'm gonna do a series about people about books you should read about people that I hate. Like I hate.
That would be a good series because we get caught up in these characters like, oh my god, I can't stand them, and then they're just stuck in your head for like 10 years.
You only ever see stuff about book babes and who you want to marry, who you want to
Mhm.
oh, who you want to kill. Who would you off? Who would you off? If you was an assassin, if you was John Wick, who would you off? Like, I think I might do a TikTok series about characters that I absolutely can't stand. Like,
Oh, bring me back on that one, because I got a few.
okay, I'm gonna tag you in, sis. I'm gonna tag you in. Okay, now where can they find you? So you done got me started on something completely different. You done got
So
me.
you can find me on Facebook. As Octavia Grant. I am on Instagram, Octavia versus Otanika, and then I'm also on TikTok under Octavia versus Otanika.
So you got promoted right there. So,
Mommy,
thank you so much,
mommy,
Octavia. This has been a
mommy,
joy.
mommy,
Thank
I
you
have
for sharing with
thinking.
us and answering all of our questions. And we hope to see you back soon. Enjoy the rest of your
I
evening.
will be back. I'll be talking to y'all next year once that new book comes out. I'm telling you.